In a platform where you can build anything, why not start with a template to build on top of instead of starting from scratch? And that was our idea when we created this agent conversation history module, which allows you to have a chatbot with persistent conversations for your authenticated users. And we want to show how easy it is to really just plug and play. So let's get started. I'm going to click this add to my Xano account. I'll sign in here. And once I'm signed in, I'll select the instance here that I want to have it added to. I'll add it to my instance. And then I get to select which workspace I want to have it added to. And I'll select my Xano workspace. I'll add it. And now I'll be brought to my workspace. We'll see a couple tables here with this yellow icon. These are going to be our tables that were imported via the snippet. So our agent user, our conversation, our message tables. And this agent user table, for clarification, is going to be an authenticated table. If you're building a workspace already, or you created one and selected authentication, this user table will be here by default. This snippet is going to use the agent user table for authentication. So keep that in mind. If we want to have authenticated users be from our user table, we'll need to modify a couple spots within our business logic. But for this example, we're going to be using our agent underscore user table. We'll click it open and let's just add a record real quick. I'll add myself here. Now, once I've added myself, perfect. I'm pretty close to being done already. The next thing I need to do is just check my agent and its settings. So I'll click this AI tab, I'll select agents, and then I'll select this gear icon on this simple Google agent brought over from the snippet. Opening it up, I'll scroll down until I find my API key, which we can see here is currently being called from our environment variables with the name of Gemini key. Because this is the environment variable name, I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And now I'm going to navigate to my settings, select this blue manage button here and add a variable. And it'll be the name of Gemini key. I need to provide my API key, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll paste from my clipboard and I'll click save. Let's navigate here to our API and then this chatbot group, again, brought over from the snippet. We'll select this copy base URL on this group at the very top, and then we'll open up this get chatbot endpoint. This get chatbot endpoint is going to be how we interface with the chatbot. It's asking for us in step 1 to update the API group base URL with what we just copied. So let's do that. We'll paste it and click save. From here, we're going to be setting the header to content type text/HTML and then returning via this template engine, well, essentially a web page. It's all the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS that's going to render a web page for us to interact with. I'll go ahead and click publish. And now how do we access this web page? In the top left, we'll select copy endpoint URL and then we'll paste it into a new tab. This is the HTML, the JavaScript, and the CSS that's present in that template engine just being rendered on our front end. I'll go ahead and write hi and then send it off. And before I can proceed, I do need to sign in. So it's going to be using that agent underscore user table where we created that user. We'll go ahead and enter my email and then that password and click sign in, where now we've been signed in and we can go ahead and pass that message through. So, hi, hello, how can I help you today? And I'll just say, just seeing what's up. Now, this is, of course, just the beginning of this chatbot experience. We have the ability to add tools to our particular agent so that it can, well, do more for us. And we can interface with it right here from this endpoint that's, well, in your instance. This also has file upload functionality. So if we want to select this file here, we can go ahead and, well, pick something and send it through. So I'll go ahead and send this picture here. It's of Xano. It's our AI cat app. It's a database. I'll go ahead and select open and say, can you tell me what's in this picture? And I'll go ahead and click send. And now we get a response here from our agent that, well, breaks it down, of course, and tells us what we sent. What's also super cool about this is the fact that our conversation history persists. We have this toggle up here on this UI that allows us to either start a new conversation or select a conversation we've previously had. So the messages that we send in each conversation are going to be relevant to only that conversation. In our data tables, if you head to the conversation data table from the snippet, you can see who owns it, the title, and of course, that last message and when it was sent at. You also then have the individual messages that are associated to that conversation, with the user and the assistant, or simply the role here being in this column, and the content, that is the text. You'll also notice that we have different types. That is, of course, an image, what we had sent in that picture. So you have the ability to have these messages exist relevant to a conversation. If you want to go ahead and start a new one within, of course, the chatbot, you can go ahead and do so here and just get started. Let's go ahead and just send a message and see what this looks like. Awesome. So after we've, of course, created that new thread, we can go to a conversation, see it having been created within the conversation table, as well as, of course, any new messages that have been appended to that conversation. So it's pretty awesome that this is just the beginning too, with media functionality, as well as the ability to, of course, just interface from your Xano instance. Well, now you can kind of build on top of it and build anything. Now, lastly, if we are looking to change the tables that we are using from, say, the agent user to our regular user table, what you'll do is you'll go to these endpoints and you'll actually change the settings. You'll go to the settings and you'll select the authentication and you'll select the user authentication. The only areas that really are going to need to be updated and changed will be the auth login and the auth me, where you'll simply replace this agent user with your user table. Now, with that in mind, you have the ability to get started very quickly, essentially with a plug and play to have a chatbot that you can interface with. Next, you can add tools to interact with your application and external services to really enhance your end user's experience. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the section below. You can also reach out to us within your instance by selecting the support chat, and also always post on the community where ourselves and other community members are there to assist. Can't wait to see what you build with this awesome new snippet. And like always, if you have anything that you want to see built, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Happy building.